Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be really short, and I do kind of want to apologize for that. I would like to draw your attention to the shelves behind me. As you can see, there's a lot of empty shelves over there. I am currently in the process of moving, so I haven't been able to post as much recently, and I haven't been able to watch as much movies. But that being said, it's the beginning of a new month. I really want to get the ball rolling with my daily post again. So today we're going to be ranking every single movie that I saw in the month of July. But like I said, since I've been in the process of moving and I went on a little vacation, I have been very busy. I've only seen the 3 big movies that came out in the month of July and then Happy Gilmore 2. So I'm going to be ranking those 4 movies, and I feel like this is going to be a very short video. But that being said, I did really like the number 1 and number 2, so I'm going to probably talk about them for a while. That being said, let's dive right into this ranking, shall we? Alrighty, and coming in dead last place, I have Jurassic World Rebirth. I'll be honest, I don't think I understand the hype with dinosaur movies at all. I think that this movie isn't necessarily terrible, but it's one of those things where it's like, I watch this and I leave the theater and I'm just like, well, that was just another dinosaur movie. And I hate that I feel that way, but I think that when the film itself has sequences where they're like, people are just tired of dinosaurs, I'm kind of inclined to be like, yeah, I kind of am. And it's one of those things where it's like, we're in a world where dinosaurs kind of roam all over the place and there's so much interesting things that they could do. But they're like, what if we have another island that has dinosaurs on it and we have another random group of people, and for some reason there's going to be children on the island again, and we just do the same thing we've been doing over and over and over again. And one of the main things that kills me about this project in particular is they do a lot of tell, don't show. A lot of the character development, like Scarlett Johansson's character here, has an interesting backstory, and instead of us, learning about it naturally, it's just like she says straight up, oh yeah, the last mission I went on, I lost one of my teammates. And then the other character's just like, oh yeah, well my son died because me and my wife, and I'm like, oh my god, this is stuff that would be really interesting and captivating to see, maybe like a flashback or have other moments with the characters where they're having like really heart-to-heart moments and it's like something that reminds them of that thing. Instead, they do exposition dump after exposition dump. The only characters that I feel like actually like get fleshed out throughout this film is the side group that's just like the random family that ends up on the same island as them, and it's just so uninteresting. And then on top of that, something that I really don't like about this movie is they build up this premise of like, this is going to be an island with a bunch of mutant dinosaurs, and you can tell that their CGI budget could not handle doing all these mutant dinosaurs for the majority of the film, so they save it for the 3rd act, and it just feels so weird because they're on this island that presumably has these mutant dinosaurs on it the entire film, and they wait until the last like 15 minutes of the movie to show up. That's weird. That's annoying. I don't like that. And on top of that, the most action-packed scene in the film is all of the water stuff, and that's how the movie starts. So because of that, they set the bar really high as like, oh my god, this is epic, this is super action-packed, this is incredible. And then the rest of the movie just doesn't live up to the 1st act, and I think that that's kind of what kills it for me as well. It's a solid movie, but I think that a lot of the characters don't really work. They don't really get fleshed out. It's a lot of very one-dimensional characters and, in my opinion, lazy writing. And I just think that there's so much better things they could be doing with this world. And I'm really hoping that with a sequel, they could potentially build on it. But that being said, as of how this movie was, I could not put it any higher on this list. Coming in 3rd place, and this might be a hot take, but I personally really enjoyed this movie, and it made me laugh out loud. We got Happy Gilmore 2. One thing I like about this movie, to me, this movie feels very similar to like old 80s and 90s movies in the sense that they were very campy. They did a lot of super ridiculous, over-the-top stuff, and they did it because they understood that, hey, if we do this ridiculous, over-the-top stuff, people are going to find it entertaining, if nothing else. And I think that that's what this movie was. I feel like in a lot of sense, a lot of people are complaining because like, oh, well, the 3rd act really goes off the rails. Yeah, the original Happy Gilmore does some absolutely crazy shit. I think that as far as a sequel to the original Happy Gilmore movie goes, it actually is fantastic. The sense of humor is like right at the exact same level. The like random cameos, there's like over 70 cameos in this movie, and I think that that's awesome. And I really love that because this movie, in my opinion, feels a lot like a cartoon, but live action, and I think that that's fun. I think that that's a really good time, and I just really like the fact that the like comedic elements of this really thrive because this is a world that just feels unrealistic, and I like that. I like the fact that they're making fun of like, we need to modernize golf, and I like the fact that they're taking shots at the pitch clock. For people who do not know, one of the like, I think, what are they called, like Golf X, whatever the new version of golf is called, they have like a hit clock. You need to hit it in a specific amount of time, and that's 100% a rip on MLB started doing pitch clocks. and a lot of fans like who are super traditional hate that. And I just thought that that was funny. I like the fact that this is a sports movie and it actually has a lot of meta sports jokes in it. This movie to me was just insanely entertaining, and that's what the movie's trying to do, and I liked it. Do I think that I would recommend it to people? Not necessarily, but the comedy worked for me, so I liked it more than Jurassic World, where, in my opinion, nothing about that movie stuck out to me. And I genuinely think at the end of the year, I'll remember more from Happy Gilmore 2 than I will from that movie. And that's not good because that's like a big blockbuster. That was cool. But coming in second place, I have Fantastic Four: First Steps. Here's my thing, right? I'm actually going to go ahead and just talk about number 2 and number 1 right now. Make the last half of this video kind of like a Superman versus Fantastic Four. So my number 1, obviously, Superman. But I like the Fantastic Four movie. I like the Superman movie. I like what they're both doing. There are certain elements that I think Fantastic Four does better. There are certain elements that I think Superman does better. But in my opinion, both of these movies kind of struggled from it needing more time. And the one that I feel like really needed more time was Fantastic Four: First Steps. I really like the movie. I think that it works relatively well if you know the characters and you know them like in and out, like absolutely like the back of your hand. You've read Fantastic Four comics, which I have. You've seen the Fantastic Four movies. You've seen some of the Fantastic Four cartoons, which once again, I have. But I really hate that we're currently in a stage where we're not getting origin stories for superheroes anymore. This movie literally starts off with a, well, you know the story, and then they like, yeah, they montage you through it. But it's one of those things where it's like, and I will say this, I think that one of the reasons why I'm going to dox Fantastic Four points, and I'm going to put Superman above it, I've been dying to see Mole Man on the big screen for so long. Every time they make a Fantastic Four live action movie, they're like, okay, Doctor Doom's the villain again. Okay, it's going to be Doctor Doom again. Okay, well, we have Galactus. Oh, they did Galactus and the Silver Surfer. We're going to do Galactus and the Silver Surfer. And when I found out they were doing Mole Man, for one, I got super excited. And when I found out Paul Walter Hauser, one of the most underrated actors who's currently working today, is going to be Mole Man, I was like, hell yeah. Give me an epic first action fight sequence that's at least 20 minutes long with, you know, them taking down Mole Man. It could have been 6 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes. Yeah, that's long. That's a hyperbole. But I just feel like this movie lacked action sequences. A lot of people I've seen, their biggest complaints are that Reed barely uses his powers. And I think that a big thing that would have helped with that is any kind of first act fight sequence. I think that they really were so, you know, tied up on the fact that we need to hurry up and show Galactus. Galactus is the selling point of this movie. We need to rush to getting to Galactus. And you can feel that in the pacing of this movie. This movie feels incredibly like go, 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 go. And it bothers me because if you really wanted to have Galactus earlier in the film, just show the opening scene, Galactus eating a planet somewhere and it being absolutely terrifying, and then skip to like the happy-go-lucky, thank you, Fantastic Four, we love you, Fantastic Four, and then show how like gloomy and excited this world is, because I feel like that would have been a very interesting way to start this film with like terror and fear, and then kind of like really hone in on the fact that like this 60s version of New York is such a utopia. It's such a vast landscape where everybody's so excited, there are no problems, and because of that there's like a lot less conflict. The villains are just random people who are like, haha, I have these flashy powers, let me mess with the Fantastic Four. And I really like the fact that this world that we're thrown into is so lively, it is so colorful, it's very exciting, it feels so fresh and unique and original. But it feels like they really wanted to hurry up and get us out of there and bring in Galactus and bring in the terror, bring in the fear, and just hurry up and like take us out of this world. And that's what kind of kills me with it is, yeah, a tight movie can be fun. Yeah, the pacing isn't necessarily bad. Like, I do think the last hour, 10 minutes or whatever is absolutely perfect, but I genuinely don't understand what their reasoning was for not having any form of like big first act fight sequence, or not having the Fantastic Four working as a team more in the beginning, because we don't really see them fighting together until the very, very end of the movie. Like, we'll see Johnny go off and try to fight somebody, and then we'll see, like, the Thing go take care of some problem. But at no point are we seeing the four of them working together until the last, like, 10 minutes of the movie. And I feel like that kind of sucks. The only working together we see them do is, like, you know, like, intelligently, which I think is very cool, right? Like, I think the fact that they're all intelligent, the fact that they're all scientists is awesome, and that really makes the Fantastic Four the Fantastic Four. Like, these versions of the characters are without a doubt the best versions of these characters, but there's just a lot of things I can nitpick about Fantastic Four, whereas with my number 1, and coming in first place, we have the James Gunn directed Superman movie. I think another thing that I could do to kind of like say why I enjoyed Superman a little bit more is these are big summer movies. These are supposed to be like the talk of the town. This is supposed to be like the biggest movie of the summer, whatever. This Superman movie, in my opinion, had such a better hype around it, had such a better energy around it, had such a better, like, just overall, everybody, the way that they were talking about it was more entertaining. I like the fact that there's, like, notable soundtracks and songs, like punk rocker really blowing up after that movie came out. I just can't stop thinking about that Superman movie. I've seen a lot of people where they went to go watch movies like Eddington or something like that, and they're like, when I left the theater, all I could think about is, man, I wish I was watching Superman instead. And that's genuinely how I'm feeling with a lot of these other movies. Like, obviously, Fantastic Four, I enjoyed it a lot. It did not make me leave and think, oh, I wish I watched Superman again. But I could see there being some, like, disappointing movies coming out in the next couple months that I'm like, damn, I wish I just saw Superman again, because Superman from start to finish is action packed. I feel like they don't necessarily like miss any details. Like, I will say there are a couple of big chunks of dialogue that are like exposition dumps, and they're really like filling you in on all the little details. But I think that for the most part, with it establishing its own world, which in my opinion, this world is a little more interesting than the Fantastic Four world, just because, and this is such a small thing, but I love it so much. I cannot stand product placement when it is so overt and it literally takes you out of the scene. And in James Gunn's Superman, all the products in the background are in-universe products. They're things that don't exist here. And I think that that is beautiful. I think that that's iconic, and I think that that's really cool. And I miss that, because one of my favorite types of merchandise that I like getting from movies or TV shows is whenever there's like a fictional band and you can get like a tour t-shirt from that fictional band. It's really, really cool. And they do stuff like that with this movie, and I think that that's really cool. I think that that's awesome. I also think this movie has some really, really great heart-to-heart stuff, like the 11-minute long sequence with Lois and Clark having their interview is absolutely phenomenal. I think that the whole punk rocker speech where he talks about how, like, maybe that is the punk rock, just thinking that everything is wholesome and kind and everybody's beautiful and trying to see the best in other people, because that's one thing that I've always loved about the Superman character once I started reading the comics and I was finally able to get, like, the, like, bad thoughts, because my introduction to Superman was Man of Steel and then Injustice. So for the longest time, I hated Superman because I was like, this guy's a fucking jerk. And so when I read a Superman comic and he's like giddy and optimistic and he has like a great sense of humor, I was like, oh my God, this character is actually awesome. Why did I not know this? But what's it called? David Cornsweet embodied that character perfectly, by the way. He did a phenomenal job. But one thing that I really love about Superman is he does kind of tend to see the best in other people. And he's somebody who's like deeply trusting. He's somebody who's deeply optimistic. And he's somebody who just like genuinely wants to believe that the world is a good place and everybody has the capacity to be good. And I think that that's beautiful, and I think that the message of that is low-key a little bit better than the messaging of Fantastic Four. Don't get me wrong, though. I do like the, like, family is important side of Fantastic Four, and I like the speech that Sue gives about how I would not sacrifice this world for my baby, but I also would not sacrifice my baby for this world. It's an interesting speech. I like it. But, yeah, overall, I really enjoyed these two movies. I think that they're both great, and I think that the fact that they're both great and they're both doing well is fantastic for all superhero media going forward, because I'm not going to lie, I was starting to get a little bit nervous for DC, because leading up to this movie, I've seen mostly the hate discourse for Superman, and seeing that it's doing really well in the box office makes me extremely excited. I can't wait for the future of both of those two universes. I think they're both going to thrive, and I think that Marvel is finally kind of crawling his way back and learning from its mistakes. And I think that DC is kind of on the same path. They're learning from their mistakes. They're starting off a new universe. It looks like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm going to be covering Peacemaker this month when it starts coming out, so stay tuned for that. But that was it for this ranking video. I'm probably going to do a full-length, in-depth video of Superman versus Fantastic Four. So I'm sorry for those of you guys who just watched the last 8 minutes of this video. I'm going to do a full-length video of that at some point, but that was it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming by and checking it out. I love and appreciate you guys so much for watching. And if you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bow, bow, bow.